Puts up a tough shot. Bounces around. Goes in at the buzzer. Working it down to 2-1. A deep three. Oh!
It's population.
That's how you win a game.
It's population. We hustle every day to find picks. You can tell us if you want to get rich. It's population. We robbing underdog and prize picks. We the best in this biz. You ain't telling us shit. It's population. We love making money quick, fast. Cooking up a team card. The whole crew about to smash. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's cash. The dopest team you ever seen. Winning money, stacking G's. Boogie setting traps, but they'll never catch me. Some people get addicted like rats to the cheese, but I got one obligation to bring Johnny to his knees. Holding back the props till the morning he knows. They'll be fishing in the shack, plotting nukes with the pros. Only withdraw, never reload. Elevated them up, amigos. We go with honest, we seeking the bloods. We know when a fucking cheat code. Party that I'm sweating, they can't be good for my health. Some might call it making bets, I call it investing in myself. I'm picking props like stocks, population for the win. Got my sips in by the buzzer now, let the games begin.
Unbelievable. What just happened? He did it.
It's population. It's population. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's cash.
All right, what is up, guys? It's been a while, but glad to be back on stream. It's been hard with these big slates to fit everything in and get content out, get our list solidified. But these smaller slates are nice because we can take our time and have time to do a stream and really break down game script and theory. And we got the 3-man crew today. We got E and Tito, and we trust. How you guys doing?
Not bad. Not bad. How are you guys?
Another day, another dollar, boys. Let's get this work.
Let's get it. Hey, I'll say for a 3-game slate, it's pretty interesting. Obviously LeBron returning back to Cleveland, and then the Miami game and Pistons game became a little bit more interesting now with Jimmy being out and now Lowry being downgraded to questionable. We kind of had a feeling that both of them would rest on this game being in Miami and against Detroit and playing on the back end of a back-to-back. So we should have some value open up, and that game hopefully can stay a little bit closer now. I mean, Detroit's been hanging with teams, and now you take away Jimmy and Lowry, the two main vets. That could definitely make the game a little bit more interesting. So we have 2 early games at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we have 1 late night hammer at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is Dallas at the Nuggets. And that game is also interesting because we have Luka versus Jokic for the first time this season. They've not played each other this season because Jokic sat out both games against Dallas a few weeks ago in November. But yeah, let's dive right in, and we'll pay attention to chat. You guys have any questions, let us know. It's a good brainstorm session here. But Lakers at Cleveland, LeBron coming home. He just absolutely crushes it when he plays in Cleveland. If you look at his history, and I don't see that changing today. I mean, although AD's on an absolute tear lately, this would be the game for LeBron to take over even more. I mean, LeBron's still getting it done even with AD on this tear. But I feel like LeBron is in a little bit better matchup here because AD is going to have to bang around with potentially Jared Allen coming back. But yeah, no major news for the Lakers side. We're still waiting on the Cavs. We're still waiting on confirmation that Jared Allen's going to play. I think he was at shoot around this morning, but he still remains questionable. Other key news for Cleveland, Dean Wade is out long term. And that's about it. That's the only other major rotation piece that is out. So let's start with the Lakers, the visiting team. We've had some discussion on LeBron, and we have AD is the taco, NBA taco today, as points are down from 27.5 to 23.5. So pretty decent discount on that. But let's start with LeBron. I mean, they haven't moved his points. It's stayed at 26.5 pretty much everywhere. And yeah, he's been clearing this even with AD having these massive spike games. It's just mainly him and AD doing it all. And yeah, we know how he is in Cleveland. He scored over 30 points both times. He's had 71 and 73 fantasy points in both games at Cleveland since he's been on the Lakers. What do you guys want to do with him? I probably just kind of exposure to different props for him, probably his points, his PRA, maybe even his fantasy. What's your guys' early lean? Start with you, E.
Yeah, I like LeBron. He definitely gets up for this game, as you said, for the narrative. And even though Cleveland has been a pretty, I think, pretty stout defensive team overall this year, they're one of the teams that's played a handful of games also in the last, week here. So they've got a little bit of wear and tear on them, and Lakers should be pretty rested up for this one. So assuming that they can actually keep it close, a lot of that heavy lifting's coming straight off the backs of AD and LeBron here. So I like it. I don't think that there's enough wiggle room on this team and kind of slow pace, lower total that I don't think you really want two of the pieces here, but some consideration for one or the other, I think, is definitely in play. LeBron looks good. His points are always going to be in play. His assist rating has kind of really worried me. It's been all over the place, especially with Schroeder starting now, and we've had Pat Beverly in and out of there. Also seen, I think honestly, Austin Reeves is a very undervalued piece of this team, and a lot of he has the ball in his hands often enough, but he doesn't create plays. He either passes it off and gets out of the play, or he's a spot up shooter. So there's some kind of, I think, opportunity that's being lost out here, but the team's looked a little bit more efficient overall. And a lot of that, I think, is just LeBron coming back after these injuries, getting settled back in and getting the team going again. So I think for me, probably just like points. He sweated us down the last minute with that 3-point prop. So you could go back there with that again, or just go with his fantasy and get it all.
I agree. Tito, you along the same lines, or do you have a particular lean on him?
Pretty much the same. I mean, this is LeBron we're talking about, right? So PRA is always live. I mean, we've seen in this matchup that he's scoring over 30 points, which is close to his PRA anyway. I think you usually want to get, encompass everything. That's perfectly fine. But his points are super, super intriguing. If we're going based off a matchup, Cavs are allowing the 7th least points to centers, and yet the 7th most points to power forwards. So right there, it's not really, a brain scratcher or anything. Very straightforward. We know LeBron's going to get up for this matchup. We know that he's kind of getting towards the end of his career. He wants to solidify everything, go out strong. Another great spot to do it. I mean, it is a tougher matchup overall just because of the Cavs being better defensively lately. They really picked it up, even with Allen out. They had a rough stretch where they just couldn't get it together. But over the last 5, they've actually really picked it up lately, including interior defense. So, but I think it's going to be a grinded out battle, honestly. And the thing about the Cavs, which I think will help make this close too, is that they've kind of struggled on offense in some areas. And a lot of that's because they can't figure out the whole Garland and Mitchell situation. And I actually read that I think that backcourt duo is ranked 30th or something like that. They are low. They are extremely low. And they just can't figure out the usage. They can't figure out who should be ball dominant. I think it's going to be a great matchup. But ultimately, I think it's going to be LeBron and then obviously point guards against Lakers. So if I had to take anything for LeBron, I'd probably say his PRA low key. On the lowest key, just because I think if Allen's back, he's going to give AD some trouble down low. LeBron might have to help down low to grab some boards. Some facilitating might have to come through LeBron, especially since he's going to be highly motivated. The ball probably be in his hands more. Just a couple little foods for thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. And he's had spike assist games even with Westbrook coming off the bench and dishing it out. I mean, LeBron can still get it done assist wise.
Well,
Um,
just like E said, the biggest battle he has is with Shooter. Shooter is like they're just constantly fluctuating between who's going to be the facilitator in another starting lineup.
Yeah.
And then Westbrook just comes in, then just dominates the assist rate whenever he gets in. So
Yeah, that's true. Because against Milwaukee, Shooter was out and LeBron had 10 plus assists.
exactly.
So it definitely eats into that. I agree with that. Okay, well, moving on to AD. Besides his taco, are you guys doing anything with him? Are you gonna ride this hot wave that he's on, or do you think it all hinges on Jared Allen news?
E.
I mean, honestly, I don't think it matters either way. You know, AD's just honestly on this whole nother level right now, and he at least seems highly motivated, and that's kind of like the biggest thing for him is when he's motivated. He's just such a dominant player, and he's been able to get to the foul line a lot lately too. So that's something I've actually been really happy to see. You know, honestly, I don't think it's really going to matter. He's still going to have, I think, a tough matchup here either way because Mobley's definitely held his own in his absence. And is Kevin Love back for this game? Do we know?
Pretty sure Love is back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So Cleveland's, you know, almost completely healthy now. This just kind of feels like one of those maybe it's time to come back down to earth scenarios. You know, this is a lower, well, it's the highest of these lower game totals that we have for today. But even still, you know, Mitchell, he's on the other side. He's been struggling real bad lately, and we've seen that affect this team's overall totals in the last couple of games here. I think for AD, his rebounds are so juiced right now. But he's been getting it done. It's tough to say, you know. Personally, I don't have any strong feelings about him. 27 points is pretty high. If he's getting to the free throw line a lot tonight, he'll probably get there. But man, what about you, Tito?
Yeah, AD is he's a tough ass for me today. It's tough to gauge just because on one hand you have Cleveland who has improved defensively, might get Jared Allen back, playing a super slow pace.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other hand, you have AD who's obviously healthy now, and he's performing based off of that health. And this is a prime AD we're seeing right now. So for me, it's a little too risky. Even with LeBron possibly just going off, it's just a little too risky because just like Josh said, we've seen them both go off, score over 30 easily because they're really the two main options. So I think I'm probably going to stay away from him. Even with Allen in, Allen isn't conditioned either. I mean, he's been out for the past 5 games, you know, so you have to think that's probably a little bit of rust, a little bit of lag there with him.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to stay away from AD. But I do know Josh did like his assist earlier. Unfortunately, we just aren't getting it because, you know, it's too juiced.
It is juice, and I don't understand why. In the books, it's juice heavily for the under, but it just seems like a really good spot here for him to feed LeBron, and especially if he gets trapped down in the low post, which I assume he will. The way the Cavs play defense in the low post, they'll have Jarrett as the main defender, and then Mobley slides over as the help roaming defender, so forcing a lot of kickouts. And I don't know. I just feel like 2.5 assists is really favorable, but it's juiced heavily on the under. So if we were to get it, it would be 2, but that would be just way too of a soft line. So yeah, we're probably just not going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of that juice to the under is probably due to just the diluted just assist rate with Shooter and LeBron and Westbrook in there. So but I agree it would be too low.
Yeah. So wanted to point out on Underdog before they took it down, they had assist or free throw props for LeBron and AD. LeBron was at 3, which is really favorable if you think about it. If he's being aggressive back in Cleveland, attacking the basket, but surprisingly, he's just like not getting the calls, not getting to the line lately. He's taking a lot of 3-point shots, which is also reducing his free throw attempts. It's currently off the board now, but I'm sure they're going to put it back. And that's one good thing the Underdog's been doing is we've been getting free throw props consistently from them. While I have not seen a free throw prop in what, 2+ weeks on Price Picks.
It's been a
And
while.
it just sounds like we're not going to get it back. And yeah, just another added advantage of Underdog, and wanted to shout out Underdog. We are now partnered with them, and they're sponsoring us. So if you're not part of Underdog, definitely use our promo code. It's just Population, our name, and it helps out the community. And we'll do some kickbacks. I'm thinking maybe every Friday we do some type of giveaway or kickback with like maybe a live stream card pack opening or something like that, ship out cards, something to give back. Also we have some merch we're making too. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're not part, if you're signing up, definitely use our code. Helps us all out. So, and we're really liking the partnership. Their Underdog's been really receptive to ideas that we have, comments. So if you want to shoot anything our way, definitely suggest any suggestions, definitely provide those to us, and we'll stay in touch with them. They're pretty open to that kind of stuff, and which is really good. They added the second half props for NBA. They added the free throw props, and they're dropping props like the night before for majority of the games. While the other sites we're getting them real late, not even maybe like
they're
one
dropping
game.
them. They're dropping them for starters and for bench players too. We've even seen a couple bench players pop up the night before. So
we're getting bench players. Yeah, that's a key thing. That's a big difference too. And the rivals are fun too. We can definitely look to those. The rivals are a lot of fun. Especially games like this, if you want to sweat out like LeBron versus Donovan Mitchell, who's also in a great spot, or Jokic versus Luka, who both should battle it out and fill the stat line. So that makes it fun, but they can also find some value there too. But yeah, back to the Lakers. Yeah, let's look out for those free throw props if they come back on Underdog. But what do we want to do with the other pieces? Are you guys just going to stay away, thinking that LeBron and AD continue to soak up everything? Does Westbrook continue to dime it out and off the bench, or is this kind of a rough spot for him coming off the bench against the Cavs here with the second unit?
Funny thing about that is that I was thinking the exact same thing. And obviously, you have to take matchup history with a grain of salt. But the past couple of matchups he's had against the Cavs, I mean, he's averaging, and this is over a span of games, he's averaging over 9 assists a game against them. Last couple, he had double digits against them. I thought it was kind of weird. I figured that the Cavs bench maybe was just lackluster and just giving up assists and points, but you got to take into consideration that the Cavs are also playing at a super slow pace. So it's strange that he's racking up the assists here. But I mean, just like you was saying too earlier, like Schroeder's in that starting lineup. So once he comes out, it's really Westbrook. And it's really Westbrook feeding AD and LeBron. And that's really it. So I don't mind his 6.5 assists, but I have reserve on it due to the fact of the pace and the matchup. But he is averaging around 15 to 16 potentials. So if we're taking that into consideration, that's pretty low. That's pretty low.
Yeah, it is. But the other side is scary with the pace. But and it seems like he's getting, at least the last couple games, he's getting this huge fourth quarter run to close out when it's a close game. So you definitely want a full game here because he's getting a lot of his minutes, majority of his minutes in this fourth quarter run where he closes out with the main guys. So
yeah. I mean, I feel like it'll stay close due to the fact of how the offenses are running. Lakers are on a roll. They're pushing it. I know AD is going to have some trouble here maybe, but he's still on a roll. And the Cavs have become very stagnant here and there. And now with Jared Allen back, and he might lack some conditioning or have some rust, could even add to that kind of, stagnant offense they have. So, I do definitely think that they'll stay close. But the biggest concern for me is the pace and the defense from other Cavs for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And someone in chat asked about speaking of Westbrook, Roy asked about his over 10.5 RA on Prize Picks. It's 11.5 RA on Underdog. So, and you're getting it somewhat of a discount if you just straight addition add his rebound and assists, getting like a 0.5 discount.
Yeah.
Any interest in that? I mean, the Cavs, the pace, like you mentioned, the pace is not in favor of the rebound or the assist. Less shots going up, but it looks like, I mean, with his rotation in the first half at least, he's playing a lot of minutes with LeBron off the court, and in the third quarter too at times. So he could soak
Yeah.
up some peripherals with LeBron on the bench. But any interest in his RA, or you guys just stick with his assists if you're going to play something for him?
Question with that though. Do we think that, I mean, we've seen it multiple times where LeBron's in a highly motivated spot that he wants to play. He could just say, hey, leave me in. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean,
Yeah.
very, very, very possible here.
Yeah, I could play like 38 minutes like AD's been playing.
Yep.
Plus, so yeah, it's possible. Eric, you got any leans on Westbrook?
Yeah, I like the assist call. Definitely. I think that's in play. But, Tito mentioned his history, and dude, his history is insane. I mean, he's like pushing a triple double almost every time. But it is kind of interesting to see, at least going back as far back that the data will bring up here from RotoWire from 2016. He's cleared that RA every single matchup, every game. So, that could be a hidden gem. And it's also one thing that, like, honestly, I could see him just getting 10 assists straight up, and he can fall into a rebound here. So that's
Yeah, it's a solid pairing. With if you just want to pair it with LeBron's points straight up.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I have that in one card, I think, just pairing LeBron's points with his with Westbrook's assists.
Yeah, well, it looks like LeBron finally got bumped. His points it's now at 27.5 on Underdog at least. I'm not sure on Prize Picks, but
I think Prize Picks is still behind.
okay, something to consider there. But I don't mind that pairing at all. Especially if you're doing a game stack, which we'll dive into now. Unless there's anything else on the Lakers, if you wanted to talk about Schroeder or Reeves or Lonnie Walker.
Fringy, I think pretty fringy. Only thing I had small interest in was Lonnie Walker points and Dennis Schroeder under points, just because Dennis is looking to facilitate a whole lot. He's not taking a whole lot of shot volume here in this low pace. I think he'll struggle even more. Probably feed LeBron some more too, but nothing of serious interest.
Yeah, I saw Schroeder go all the way down to 8.5 points on Underdog at one point. They put him back at 9, but he's still at 9.5 on Prize Picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to the Cavs. So, yeah, you guys were talking about the struggles offensively. They had a Garland and Mitchell had a really, really bad game against the Knicks last game. But we've seen Donovan Mitchell pretty much majority of the season go off, get hot, and really dominate scoring. Yeah, I mean, the game before that Knicks game, he dropped 34 points, and even in a poor shooting game against the Knicks, he went 2 of 10 from 3. He still dropped 23 points. And now you probably get one of the best matchups possible for a backcourt offensively against the Lakers, who just bled points to point guards and 2 guards, combo guards. He was at 26.5 points, but he finally got bumped up to 27.5. Do you guys like it? Or is there another prop you like for him? I will say, if you weren't going to play his points, secondary prop for me would be his 4.5 assists. He can just dominate playmaking and ball handling, but I think a lot of that depends on Jared Allen news. If Jared Allen plays, we know Garland has built like a serious repertoire with him and will play make and could eat into Mitchell's assist potential. But yeah, I probably just want to straight up points the most exposure. Yeah. And then Garland, I can't decide on for his assist. I mean, he's the kind of guy where I mainly play his PA or his assist. I don't want to rely just on his scoring because so much of it comes from the 3 ball. What's your guys' thoughts on those two, and then we'll move on to the others. I guess we'll have to. It's kind of a guessing game with Jared Allen.
Yeah, a bit of a wait and see here. I mean, his points I think are definitely still in play. He's been going through this kind of first half slump in the last couple of games, and going back to that Toronto game where he just got completely locked down. I think maybe some of that might just be knocking that mental rust off. He's just trying to find his shot early on in the game because he's still holding the team together and doing a lot of shooting. So that his role hasn't changed. He's just not landing those shots. So if you ask for a good matchup, this is definitely one for the team. So I don't really have any leans for just straight up points or assist or PA, but I think for him, points are probably the safest thing. As you mentioned, the ball distribution can be a bit more volatile. If what is this child doing? If Jared Allen does end up being in, and they focus maybe a little bit more down front. So I think for him, just probably points is a good safe bet.
Yeah, and then let's play hypothetical here. If Jared Allen is ruled in, and it seems like he's on track to play, and they really need him against AD. Do you guys have any interest in Garland's assists?
Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
Okay.
I do. I mean, his potentials are there. His teammates have just been selling him, honestly.
Yeah, they're shooting poorly. Yep.
Very poorly, especially Donovan over the past stretch of games. But you gotta think with Allen back, one, he'll have that connection with Allen, and Allen should be able to get a couple of easy buckets inside the paint here. And then he'll also have Donovan in a prime matchup too. So he'll have some good opportunities to get assists here. 8.5 might feel a little high for some people, but this is a guy who could easily get a double-double here, without even looking twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think yeah, I agree. The potentials are there. It's just the guys need to land a shot. I mean, Kevin Love shot bad last game. Garland had 5 potential assists to him, and he missed all 5. So as long as the potentials are there, definitely with you on that.
And a bright side to that is that they're in Cleveland.
Yeah, that helps these bench guys for sure. Yeah. What's up with Levert's minutes? I didn't catch that Knicks game. Is he getting worked back in from being out for so long?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah,
just getting conditioning run in. That's it. But you also have to consider him too, because this is also a decent matchup for him as well, and he has been eating into the Mitchell and Garland assist rate as well.
Yeah, he definitely can. Who knows how many minutes will play? I mean, they need him because Dean Wade's out, so it's really just like Chetty and Okoro. But Okoro, he's looked really bad lately. He's usually he's their best wing defender and on-ball defender, but offensively, he's just really struggling. So he's losing out on minutes. Maybe they use him a little bit more to help out on LeBron, but he doesn't have the size to handle LeBron. He's more fit for a guard or combo guard. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, no one's gonna stop LeBron here on this unit. So, and yeah, Ducati. I mean, he's trying out there and in replace of Dean Wade and Jared Allen, but I doubt he sees much minutes if Jared Allen's back. Speaking of that, if Jared Allen's back, could we consider some unders on Mobley? They bumped his PRA down to 26.5. It was at 27.5. His points haven't moved. They're still at 15.5. These teams played earlier this season. He really struggled. And we know that his shot volume is already at risk with ball dominant guys like Mitchell and Garland. Now you throw in Jared Allen, that really hurts his scoring on average. So would you guys risk taking under now prior to the news? Because I imagine if we get the Jared Allen news, his lines are going to get adjusted somewhat. I imagine that his fantasy and his points will get bumped down.
Oh yeah, they'll pull the whole team down like their usual thing, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
His lines at least will get adjusted, but I think that's a pretty sharp call for the under on are you leaning a little bit more just for straight up points
Yeah.
with the shot volume? Yeah.
Yeah, just because like Donovan Mitchell and Garland will just go black hole and dominate the usage. Oh, look, underdog is already on it. They're sharp. They just bumped them to 14.5 as we were talking. And it looks like they're bumping this PRA down to 26.5 too. So still 15.5 on Prize Picks. I believe on DK Sportsbooks he's at 14.5 too now. So I think
Get you
I
some.
think what's that?
Get you some.
Yeah, get you, I mean I think Vegas is planning for Allen to play. So
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I mean, he's already struggles to get over that at times with Allen out because of how much Donovan Mitchell and Garland shoot, and then when Kevin Love is in, it hurts his shot potential as well, scoring potential as well. So don't mind that. Lamar Stevens, I mean, he's gonna have to play minutes with Dean Wade out, but I just don't trust him here. He's gonna have his hands full trying to chase around LeBron. I'm probably gonna stay away unless you guys have anything on him. Move on.
I took a risky shot at his under points in this
Okay.
matchup.
Okay.
And that's really just because I'm assuming Allen does play. We saw that his shot attempts literally doubled. Obviously, it's a very small sample size, but his shot attempts doubled without Allen.
Mm-hmm.
If we think Allen comes back and he goes back down to 5 to 7 field goal attempts,
Yep.
he's not clearing 8.
Yeah. A lot of his scoring is off of fast break turnovers. I noticed too at times.
Exactly.
And if like I said, if the Cavs need to lean on Okoro some for defense, Lamar could lose out on minutes too because of that.
Completely agree.
Okay. Let's move on to the next game. This is an interesting game. We're still waiting on final confirmation that Lowry is out. He was downgraded to questionable, so I would assume he's going to be out. But the way this NBA season has gone so far, I wouldn't trust anything 100% because we've seen guys a lot this season have midday downgrades and still play. So I don't know, but I mean, all signs are pointing to him being on a back-to-back at home against Detroit and already 7-point favorites. There's no need to play the vet here. So assuming that he is out, we're going to get Tyler Hero day where he's going to do everything and be ball dominant as ever. Oh, wow. Aaron Judge is coming to the Giants.
Nice.
Sorry. Let's go.
Breaking alert.
It's official. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, so I think the other key news we really need to wait on is Gabe Vincent. He is questionable. He has been back to the last 3 games, but he missed games prior to that. But he was playing limited minutes in the last 3 games. If for any reason he's out, that's just even more boost to Hero. Everything like assists and scoring. But it seems like I imagine he's going to play, even though he's questionable because he's played the last 3. But Detroit is pretty much the same, except Livers is out. So I think that's just more minutes for probably Sadiq, if anything, off the bench. It secures his minutes. But yeah, Detroit's full go. Like I said, it's a 7-point spread. Game should be a little bit closer here, but let's start with Detroit. And Tito, why don't you start us off?
Detroit, fun stuff.
Hey, remember, Jimmy and Lowry being out is definitely a downgrade to
the Heat defense,
the defensive rating overall.
For sure. It makes it a lot more appealing. A lot of these guys are already priced for blowout, I think. I mean, we see Bagley down to 11.5. We see Ivy down to 15.5. Bohan 18.5. These are these guys' lines easily for blowout. Heat aren't anything to be scared of now. Without Butler and without Lowry potentially, it's just an average team. We've even seen their defense slip a little bit from last year anyway. So there's that. If I had to go to anyone, I think Honestly, one of the most enticing people on this team is probably Isaiah Stewart to me. And some reason I keep looking back at his points at 9.5. Usually sitting around 10.5, 11.5. And he's chucking from 3. And we know that that's where Miami's weakness is from 3 for sure. And he's taken some of the most field goal attempts from 3. So I think I'd have to play that, right? At 9.5.
Okay. Do you like that more than his rebound potential? Because I guess his rebounds have been all over the place with Bagley, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm most scared of. That and then Miami shooting threes, especially with Butler out too, putting Strus in there, that could lead to even more three-point attempts, whether they miss or not. It's still 3-point attempts, and that could hurt Isaiah's rebound potential as well as Bagley's. But couple that with the fact that he's fighting with Bagley for boards, I kind of want to stay away from that.
Okay. With you on that. What else are we interested in Detroit wise? I mean, Bojan scoring is always live here, but
I mean, I think at this point all their scoring is kind of live, right? I mean, Bojan scoring is live. I think Ivy might have some of the most difficulty because he's known for his drives and getting to the paint and drawing fouls, and that's something that Miami just isn't having. So he's probably one of the most riskier ones.
mm-hmm.
But I think Bojan and Isaiah over points is interesting, very interesting. And on Underdog, they have Marvin Bagley at 12.5 points. They had him at 19.5 PR earlier. I took that under because, I mean, it's Miami, and he still got to fight against Bam down there. So just a little something.
Mm-hmm. With it. And you can always go under on Killian.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say with Lowry being out, it might make things a little bit easier. But Gabe Vincent, if he plays, he's a solid defender. But if Killian, I mean, we know Tyler Hero's defense, well known, documented, that's really bad. So he could have a really favorable matchup if he sees a lot of Tyler Hero. What about you? You got any strong leans on Detroit? I think you're muted.
Yeah, you're on me.
Yeah, sorry, my audio thing freaked out for a second.
You're good.
Yeah, I have some interest here. This team's always been kind of frustrating, but we did nail it the other night when they were our single game. So hopefully we can break this down pretty good again. The Bogdan, they're still doing the same thing with their first half tax and then discount on the full game. I'm kind of interested to see how Ivy plays out this game. He did start this last game after he came off the bench in that injury return or his return game. And he didn't take that many shots. He did distribute the ball quite a bit like we were, hoping and expecting. But Killian Hayes, man, he's a thorn in this team's side. Good or bad thing, his shot volume for the last 4 games has been in double digits. And he's not the best scorer, but he's, averaging right around 10, 11 points. And that 5.5 assists is still real interesting. As much as we hate on him, they refuse to put some respect on that. And he's been clearing that last, I want to say last 8 of 9 or something crazy like that. It goes way further back than the last 5, but he's over in the last 5 and pretty much been crushing all of his lines so far, PA points. They didn't give us a rebound prop, and I think his PRA is slightly taxed for the rebounds, but his points and assists, I believe, is at a 0.5 discount right now as well. So if you don't think one of the main shooters are going to get it done, he might get some garbage run and just continue to be that thorn in the side, but very underlooked player all the time.
Yeah, we'll say majority of the time he's looking to play make than score. Because he's just not an efficient scorer. So 5 assists, I totally get it. Would you choose that over? We don't have Ivy assist prop on Prize Picks, but on Underdog we have it at 4. Would you lean that over Ivy's 4 assists?
I mean, that's tough. I think if we had Ivy assist option, you'd have to hedge for some or have some kind of exposure to that, because they kind of teetered around with it last time. I think it opened at 4, then went down to 3-5,
Mhm.
and then um, they left it there even though he came off the bench. So it's a good spot. I mean, he has the ball in his hands enough that I think at 4 it could push, but there's plenty of room for the upside.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and they're both at 8.5 RA, so it's basically the toss up. You're choosing between the two. So
I think one thing that does help E's point though, as far as Hayes' assists also, is just the fact that one, Miami's defense is going to take a big hit, and they're probably still going to try to funnel threes instead of allowing points inside the paint, because you still got Bam down there anyway. So, and we know that threes correlate with assists far better than anything else. So I could definitely see that for sure. I could definitely see him dishing out to Stu and Bohan and even Ivy from 3 because they just have to shoot threes. So
mhm.
Yeah, and real fast to that point, so far we've seen in the last handful, or at least in the last couple of weeks, that they've been able to really coexist. Like everybody on this team completely drops off in their assist rating. I know they kind of tease us with these Bohan props at 2.5, 1.5, whatever it is, but he's been very efficient in getting his assists, and I think that it's a lot more dominant on just Ivy and just Killian Hayes here.
Yeah. So speaking of that, someone in
yeah.
chat asked, or mentioned Bojan's 24.5 PRA. He has been crushing that in the past, but yeah, lately a little bit more inconsistent on the rebound and assist side of things. And I think a lot of that is probably Ivy being back, but yeah, some of it's due to the minutes here in the last 3 at least being blowouts. So
Yeah.
if it goes a full run, his PRA is always live, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. And they have on Fliff, at least right now, they have Ivy at 3.5 assists. So if you want some real
Wow.
value, that's over there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's juiced heavy for the over, so that's why we're getting at 4. Okay. Let's move to Miami. I think the more interesting side here with potentially Lowry out and then Butler out. And we're still waiting on Gabe Vincent, but yeah, prime spot. We know Detroit's defense, how bad it is. So we should get spike games from 1 or 2 Heat guys here. And I mean, Hero, it's a small sample size this season, but when both Lowry and Butler are out, he has about a 30% assist rate. Rebounding goes up, and obviously his usage. His points are stayed at 21.5. I think in most books it's at 22.5. So for Prize Picks, still getting a point discount there. His assist it's slightly juiced at 5. In the books it's at 4.5. But like I said, 30% assist rate, especially if Gabe Vincent's out, it's even more of a boost. But he's going to be the primary ball handler and distributor. So, but the only thing is when he catches fire and he gets hot, he's going to chuck it like crazy, and that could lower potential assists slightly. So if you're worried about something like that, then I would just go with his PRA because he's going to get it done on the glass too and score. So probably gonna have equal exposure to his PRA and his assists here. His PA is taxed by a full 1, but I totally get it and like that too. But I don't want to lose out on the rebound potential because it's definitely there. He's such a glass hog. You see these spike rebound games, and Detroit's gonna throw up a lot of bricks. We know that. So I'm probably gonna lean assist and PRA, and then all these other guys. Massive bump up for them, like Strus. His 3-point shooting. He's been playing off the bench around 25 minutes. Now with Jimmy out and potentially Lowry sliding in the starting lineup, I assume, and should play 30 plus minutes. His 3-point shooting is always live when he plays at least in like 33 minutes. He's taking about almost 10 threes, so he can definitely get that done. But he's very streaky. And then Bam. Talk to me on Bam. What do we do with the cardio Hero. Is he gonna do wind sprints, or is he gonna crush like he has recently when Jimmy Butler is out? I mean, it's a prime spot for him.
I think he's gonna crush it. I think this is a new improved Bam we're seeing this year, and I don't think it's just because of any particular like work he did in the offseason or anything like that. But I think the Heat really saw how detrimental it was that he wasn't scoring during that playoff run, and they could have easily took home a ring if he like just contributed, but he didn't. And I think this year they're making a point, and everyone around him is making a point to feed him because he's capable of scoring. He just doesn't get the touches, especially when you have people like Hero and Butler and Strus and all these guys around you who are chucking threes too. It's tough. But I think the Heat have formulated their game plan this year to make sure that he's more involved. And now with Butler out, potentially Lowry out, I mean, I could see Hero just constantly feeding Bam down low especially against Marvin Bagley. Come on now.
Yeah. So let me ask you. We don't have fantasy on Prize Picks yet, but we do on Underdog. Let's see if this changed. Are you gonna lean fantasy or just straight up points for him? It's at 41.6 on Underdog. I assume it's gonna be around 41, 42 on Prize Picks too once we get it. I will say the Pistons are allowing the second most blocks, so definitely block potential.
Because of Ivy mostly getting to the paint.
And Bagley trying to work in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the rebounding should be there. I mean his assists will go up too. I mean we don't have assists on Underdog, but we have his assists at 3.5. I think that's a good hedge to Tyler Hero's assists if you wanted to do like a Bam assist plus Hero points or points plus rebounds or something like that.
Yeah, for Bam, naturally, I want to take the lower line because it's Bam. I just don't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
But considering how much he's going to have to do today, especially since this game should stay a little closer, that fantasy's kind of soft. It's a little soft. I think it should be around like 43. So I'm willing to take a chance on that, especially with the increased assist rate, soft matchup. So these guys should hit their shots. They're playing in Miami, right? I think I asked that.
Yeah, they're in Miami.
Yeah, they're playing in Miami. So again, these guys should hit their shots. The block potential, just like you said, between Ivy and Bagley. He's going to play over 30 minutes in a competitive matchup. I think you got to go with his fantasy, and then probably hedge with his points.
I'm with it. E, do you have any favorite Heat props?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in Hero today. He's just in one of those hot streaks right now where he's just doing it all and ultimate try hard. And we've seen that, I think, really reflect in his rebounding. Like last night, I mean, dude, he was pushing Jimmy out of the way. He's like, this is my board. And I think his scoring upside has, always been there, and he's just really coming back in and taking the reins over, at least while Jimmy's kind of in and out. But one thing to note, they did kind of hint that Oladipo is going to play tonight. So
yeah, he was upgraded. Yeah. But I mean, this would be his debut, so I doubt he plays more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm definitely not looking for any kind of overs, and I'll be kind of curious to see if they'll actually add us some props for him, because I'll definitely be interested in possibly some unders, because he's definitely one of those guys that needs a game or two to knock that rust off. He always just is terrible the first game back, so that'll be something to keep an eye out for. But did they give us RA props for Hero today or no?
Nope.
No.
Last I looked in the books, it was 11.5 RA.
Yeah, that's not bad. That'd be.
But that was pre Lowry news, so it might have gone up since then. It might be at 12.5. But keep an eye out for that. Definitely. It's a good alternate play to his PRA in case he gets cold scoring wise. We've seen a couple games with Butler out. He scores like 11 points, but he'll have like 10 assists and like 6 rebounds. So if the shot's not falling for him, he'll play make for sure. What about these other guys like Caleb Martin and Struess, are you guys interested in their scoring potential, peripherals? I know Struess's 3-point prop's probably gonna be popular because, like I said, when he plays above 30 minutes, he's chucking it from 3. That's his main thing. And Caleb's been hot from 3, but his shot volume is way lower from behind the arc compared to Struess. But yeah, I mean, obviously these guys are going to play big minutes and are going to be needed.
I have some interest. I will kind of caution everybody that, like, if you're looking at Struess from last year and he popped off against Detroit, Jimmy didn't play those 2 games. So he could be in the same spot where, hey, he could smash again and go out and chuck it a bunch. Or we could see he, could kind of take a back seat to not only Hero here, but we saw last night. I mean, Caleb Martin came out and shot the lights out. And I was kind of interested that they didn't really, I felt like they could have used him a little bit more throughout the game, but his shot volume was ridiculous last night. And I think he put up 16 real points, 0 stats, but very interesting if he's going to be taking away usage here from Struess or not.
Yeah, I'm curious about the minutes too, because Struess is still a bench piece, so he's gonna be sliding into a starting role. But yeah, Caleb is a solidified starter, so maybe he slightly plays more minutes over Struess, or maybe they just play equal amount, like 35 minutes each. Tough to say. They definitely will eat into each other. I agree with you on that in terms of shot volume. So I'm probably not. I wouldn't play both on the same card.
No, definitely not.
I would say look out for Struess's fantasy. He can rack up stocks and fill the stat line. So if it's low, right now his PRA is at 20.5. So I imagine it's going to be around 26. So we'll see. Something to consider. But yeah, we need to try to figure out the minute projection on that. If he's going to play 35 plus minutes and it's at 26 fantasy, I wouldn't mind that.
Definitely.
Okay. If there's nothing else, we'll just move on to late game. Let me try to get it here a decent time. Let us know if news pops up, guys. See if they can chat. Yeah, chat likes Struess over 3s. And Roy likes Hero over PRA. Yeah, I do as well. But I would try to spread your exposure out to Hero props because he very well could easily clear one, but not the other, which we've seen with Jimmy Butler out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got Luka versus Jokic here. Dallas is on a back-to-back, obviously, in the traveling to Mile High in the elevation. But none of the Mavs starters played in the fourth quarter. They didn't touch the court. It was a blowout. So they should be somewhat fresh. And not traveling not that far either from Dallas to Colorado. Yeah, Luka only played 29 minutes. Let's start with the visiting team in the Mavs. In any news, is Kemba still on the back burner, not going to play?
Probably not. Well, and a couple of days ago, there was a couple of reports saying that his knee still wasn't quite right yet. So I think they could be holding off for that. Maybe looking to bring him in later into the season, possibly just to kind of relieve Luka some, relieve Dinwiddie some, since they're taking such a heavy workload starting off the season. So I doubt he does anything like significant if like he does play. So
yeah. Okay. Well, what's our feel on Luka? Is always super juiced. But I will say the Nuggets defense has been really bad and exploitable. But they've just given up so many points to certain players. I can't really pinpoint like if it's a certain position or just a certain style of player, but their defense is definitely exploitable. And a lot of it's the second unit too that comes on. The defense is really bad. You got DeAndre Jordan out there in the paint. Yeah, I mean, talk to me on Luka and any other props. They they adjusted Finney down to 7.5 points. He's really not involved at all offensively. Josh Green is interesting up the bench. He's playing more of a role. He's going to be going against guys like Bones Highland. He's not the best defender, but it's a bench player.
I'm gonna give you some news real quick.
Yeah.
Gabe Vincent's out and Dedmon's out. Oh, yeah, Dedmon's out, and Kyle Lowry is on track to play.
There you go. That sums up this NBA season.
Yep.
Wait. Who was the second? Was it Devin Reed?
Dwayne Dedmon.
Oh, Dedmon.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be Bam time.
Might be Bam time. They're gonna feed him.
Yeah, it might be under on Killian's points. Okay.
Oh, good point.
I think probably get off a Hero's assist.
Yeah.
And I would maybe just consider his points or his PR. It's not really juiced that much. His PRA could still be in play. I mean, we've seen him rack up assists with Lowry out there and Jimmy out. So, and Gabe being out helps. That definitely helps.
Yeah. Just makes it a little less enticing for me having Lowry in there.
Why even make him? Why downgrade him to questionable if you knew he was going to play all along?
Because it's Miami.
Yeah. All right. Well, back to Luka. Anything you guys like for Luka?
I want to say something with his rebounds today. I feel like this is a prime rebound spot for him. Maybe not just straight up rebounds, but like points, rebounds, assists, because he should be able to work the high post really well against his team. I mean, they're not going to have Joker go out there and try and guard him. So it's either going to be, like Murray or Gordon. And I'm hoping more so Murray throughout the night, because that's going to happen. He's going to work him over so bad. Luka, didn't play that long last night, but he always worries me. They travel to Denver. Yeah. They always worry me whenever they travel. And that's my biggest pause about this team. Like, they always play lights out at home. They're like the Warriors, except for last night, but they just play so differently on the road. And this would be a spot, like, if they can't slow down Jokic throughout the night, this game could definitely blow out, like, in a hurry.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah, and I think to that point, I had small interest, and it's risky because it's Luka, but under on Luka's assists on Underdog, I think it was at 9. It's at 8.5 now. Oh, is it? Oh, I got bumped down. Well, I did like it. Don't like it as much now. A little riskier just because the Mavs will probably be breaking their shots coming up a back-to-back and playing in Denver. But the caveat to that is that Denver's defense is just trash. So, that's why it makes it risky.
Yeah.
Slow pace too, though. Slow pace too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really slow game. You can see a lot of half court offensive sets with Jokic setting it up on the Denver side, and then obviously Luka doing his thing on the other side. So yeah, definitely consider unders here. All right, well, speaking of unders, I mean, someone asked about Dinwiddie under points. He had a pretty good game against the Knicks and Phoenix, but a lot of that was like when the game was already out of hand, out of reach. And I think, Luka was on the bench and it was just him out there. I think he picked up a lot of points during like essentially garbage time. But ever since THJ has been in the starting lineup, he's eating up so much shot volume. Taking like 10 plus threes a game.
Ton.
Do we want to consider unders on Dinwiddie, or are we worried that that he could again pick up some if it blows out some garbage time, or he can exploit this weak Denver defense?
That's tough, if he's going to get any kind of garbage run like that again. And I think that could be a slight risk. He did play a little bit more of his minute load, in that garbage time. And he actually did shoot quite a bit, because I want to say he scored like almost 6 points in just the fourth quarter alone.
Yeah, and he played 3/4 of that, and which is all essentially garbage time.
Yeah. He's kind of risky tonight because they didn't really adjust his props at all. And if he has even just kind of a decent night, he could potentially go over. I think for me, honestly, they overcorrected Hardaway and some of his props. I mean, last night he hooked his points plus rebounds by just 0.5, and they bumped it back down. I think it was 18, 19 and a half now. And he only played 26, 27 minutes. So a lot of wiggle room there.
22.
Oh, 22. Okay. Yeah. Way off.
And he still put up 17 points. Yeah.
Yeah. He could come back down to earth, but he's looked really good in his return so far. So I think for him, points or PR definitely still in play.
Okay. And they just added Christian Wood. I will say, playing up the bench, see a lot of DeAndre Jordan. Should be a favorable spot for him, but it's Christian Wood. Any other interest? I mean, he got Christian Wood. I mean, if he didn't he played the entire fourth last night, by the way, and all garbage time. And look at this. I mean, he did everything. And if it wasn't for this, he wouldn't have cleared his props.
Yeah, it was just him and Dinwiddie did everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, if he didn't have that full garbage time run like that, he wouldn't have cleared. Any other things we should talk about for Mavs? We move on to Denver.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I do kind of agree with that Dinwiddie under. I know it is risky, but Dinwiddie is not that guy, and this game should not be a blowout like a Phoenix. We should see a little more Luka on the other court, unless they decide to limit him for whatever reason. But I know it seems like it's right there. Wish it was 16.5, but I think he'll struggle against Denver. The altitude, the slow pace. Sure. I think he'll struggle.
Okay. Yep. And Lorenzo, our boy, in chat said he loves THJPRA at 20.5. He was on that too, and then he also likes Luka under 31.5 points. And I guess, assuming that the game doesn't go the full length or he struggles on a back-to-back for whatever reason. Okay, let's move to the Nuggets. Have they made any adjustments since we've been on air? Nope, everything's still the same. So Jokic got bumped on underdog from 24.5 to 25.5. Everything else pretty much stayed the same. And the only news we're waiting for the Nuggets, main news is KCP. I think he's still questionable, right?
Yes.
And if he's out, then I assume it's gonna be Devin Reed that'll get the start. But
yeah, I mean they have a couple options. I mean they could throw Kanker in there and Devin Reed and all these guys, but yeah, I kind of lean Reed.
Yeah, it could be Kanker. I mean, yeah. But okay, KCP. I mean, he's struggling offensively this year. But I mean, defensively, he can still be a pest on the perimeter. So could make things a little bit easier for THJ if you liked him if KCP is out. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be the Jokic Jamal Murray show, like we've seen. And I think, Jokic is in a prime spot. We've seen what bigs in the paint have done to the Mavs lately. I mean, Ayton went off. There's games prior to that. Bagley and Stewart had their way in the paint against the Mavs recently. Is there anything Jokic we like? For me, I mean, it's always hard trusting his points because he can just go straight point God mode and just dish out 14 assists easily whenever he wants. But I just feel like the matchup, everything should, in my opinion, funnel inside because of how good the Mavs are on the perimeter defensively. And I think if I was him, I would just run Jokic on the mid post and just let him do his thing and work inside the paint in that mid range. But I don't know. He's had pretty good history against the Mavs. I mean, last 3 games he's had 16 rebounds every single one. Not a great rebounding spot though. I mean, Dallas just due to their pace, but yeah, I mean, Jokic you can get it done there. PRA is always live too, but yeah, what is your guys' lean? And then on any of these other Nuggets guys, and yeah, we talked about Bruce Brown unders too.
So, question as far as the rebounding, who was starting before THJ?
Reggie.
His shot volume wasn't nearly like a THJ.
Correct.
That makes me a little more concerned for Jokic rebounds. Just because,
Yeah,
I mean, you
the
did have,
three-point shoot.
yeah, because you had Reggie in there who wasn't doing nothing. And now you have TJ in there who's going to chuck it from 3. So can make it a little more difficult for his rebounding. But I do like his scoring here. I mean, just like you said, the Mavs elite 3 defense, they're gonna have to rely on that today. They're not gonna hit their shots today. They're not. They're gonna have to go full force on defense, try to shut the perimeter down, let Jokic eat, and just pray to God that their threes fall at some point. But I think his points are probably the best bet here, probably the safest thing. I know it's weird to say because it's Jokic and like you said, he can play make plenty, but I just assume that Murray and Brown and Aaron Gordon from the perimeter, they're just not going to get it done. So they're going to have to play inside. And we just saw Ayton just score at will inside, whether it was from the mid range or just pulling from like the free throw line or working inside the paint, he just scored at will. So I'm leaning points.
I agree. What about you, E? Anything? Jokic or Nuggets?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you guys with Jokic. You know, as you mentioned, same thing with Ayton. Ayton was going off last night. Man, he was going to drop like 40 if that game stayed close.
Yes.
I mean, they just don't have anything for it. Like between Dwight Powell, Kleber, and you know whoever is out there on the floor, like they don't stop anybody. And of course, this is a game that like I'm dying to get free throw props for because I know fouls are going to get called left and right. Did they give us any Jokic free throw props on Underdog?
I don't see any yet.
No. Well, that'll be something I think definitely keep an eye out for, because especially Powell, man, he's been hacking people lately. He can't figure it out or figure out how to stop them from setting that either post or whatever option up, and he just fouls trying to get them to stop the play. So maybe even some kind of a slight bump to Kleber tonight for secondary pieces. I know they've been leaving his points fairly low, and Denver isn't the best at defending the 3 ball. So if he gets a couple open looks and a few extra minutes, that could be a potential.
Okay. And then what about anything Aaron Gordon? He can obviously get it done in the paint too, but it's Aaron Gordon. I never want to put my money on him or trust him for anything, especially in a slow paced game. I feel like he thrives in really fast paced games where he can get offensive rebound putbacks and a lot of shots going up.
Except for that one game against the Rockets where he decided to foul out.
Yeah, he wanted to get an early exit with fouls. And then good old Bruce. I mean, he's playing. We love him, but we like him when obviously either Jamal Murray or Jokic are out. But he's going to be playing alongside very ball dominant guys. He's still playing about 34, 35 minutes a game with MPJ out and others. So I will say Bones Highland is back, but I did not look into why he only played 5 minutes last game. I don't know if he like re-aggravated his injury, but yeah, he played 5 minutes. So that's kind of concerning. But the game prior to that, his first game back since injury or illness, whatever it was, he played 22 minutes. If he plays his normal 20 to 25 minutes, I could eat into some Bruce Brown production. But yeah, PrizePicks has him at 28 fantasy point, 20.5, and Underdog has him at 26.5 or 26.75. He's gonna have to rack up stocks here to clear that and be very efficient offensively, and obviously get it done with his rebounding assists. But his assists and rebound takes a huge hit with guys like Murray and Jokic out there. You guys consider any unders on him?
For Brucey?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. For sure. With these guys, I mean, we've been targeting Bruce overs with Jokic out and Jamal out and Highland out, but now they're back. So his production is going to go down, and about a third of his shots or so are coming from deep. He probably shouldn't be too efficient from deep today, especially against the
Mhm.
Mavs.
Mhm.
And from there, he'll have to shoot at least 50% from anywhere else in another court to clear his points. And if you have that thought and the fact that he's going to have to rack up stocks and have to fight for boards against Jokic and Aaron Gordon and everyone, and then assist as well between Jamal Murray and Jokic, that fantasy probably isn't going to get cleared. I think the biggest concern you could have to it would be the stock side
Yeah.
with playing against Luca and Dinwiddie and these guys, and they're on the back to back, and they could get careless. But I think that's just a risk that you kind of have to assume because that's always a risk. So
He can rack up stocks. I mean, but it's such a large gap from his PRA. His PRA is at 21.5 and
yeah,
fantasy is 28.5. So they're assuming at least 2 minimum stocks here, if not more.
mhm,
And if that's the case, I mean, you would just play his 1.5 block steal as a hedge. I
Yeah.
mean,
exactly.
which is available on Underdog. But yeah, he could definitely rock it up. But I'm not gonna. That's a very volatile prop, obviously. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, last time he's cleared this, I mean, it was a very favorable matchup against the Rockets, and everyone went off in that game for Denver. So yeah,
So to go back to the Highland thing, it just seemed like it was just a coach's decision. I mean, they were getting torched, especially by Alvarado. Um, and then that bench unit was actually struggling to score. Even Highland, like they couldn't get buckets. So I think it was just, and actually Denver has had some issues as far as trying to figure out things just game plan wise. There's been a couple of reports of like them canceling practices and trying to hold extra practices and trying to get the team kind of like the same page. So I think they're having a little bit of disorientation as far as how they want to approach games, and we see that with their lackluster defense, and they get a little stagnant on that offense sometimes. So I think that was really why Highland was sitting, just trying to figure things out.
makes sense. It seems like that way with the rotations all over the place. But yeah, the main starters are playing huge minutes. So if the game goes long enough, strong enough to the end, I think Jokic PRA or points is definitely live. And just I'm probably staying away from majority of the Nuggets altogether besides him.
Yeah.
Okay. No other questions. Let's do our favorite 3 pick for the group. Now that we kind of have majority of the news, and then yeah, we'll get out of here and build our list and hop on voice chat with everyone on Discord. We got an hour and a half before lock, so we got an extra 30 minutes. We'll start with prize picks. E, you want to go first?
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a favorite play right now.
Okay.
Come back to me 1 second. I've been
Alright,
kind of on the fence about this all afternoon. It's a
let,
decent slate, but
us throw LeBron up. What do we want? We want his PRA or points?
Man, the way AD is playing today, that's a struggle. I'm leaning points a little bit.
All right, I'm with it. And if you're tailing and want to sweat with us, you could also do his PRA instead. All right, Tito, what play do you want to go with?
Jokic.
PRA or
Let's go with
points?
points.
All right. All right, E.
all right, let's go with who do I have here? Man, I'm really just torn between Hero and Bam. I
Yeah.
want one of those two.
Yeah.
I want to say with Lowry back, I got to give the nod to Bam here.
Okay. His points?
Did you guys have any strong convictions about one prop or the other? Yeah, I would say either his points or his PRA because he does so much more when Jimmy's out. Or did we want fantasy because Detroit allowed the most blocks or second most?
Yeah, but we don't have it on Prize Picks yet. We can do that on Underdog though.
Okay.
Just want to go straight up points.
Yeah, we'll go points.
Okay, there you go. Little 3 pick there. And then on Underdog, if we wanted to do that, throw in his fantasy if we wanted. Let me refresh this. Okay, so Lowry's back on the board. 6.5 assists for him. But we've seen Hero really eat into that, so that could be risky, or he could easily crush it. Do we get an RA prop for Hero? Nope. Any other props that we didn't put on Price Picks that we want to put on here?
Let's go Brucey Bruce.
His fantasy is less on here.
Lower here, but his points, yeah.
We could do his PRA though.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Oh, there was a fun little rival here.
The Jokic one?
Yeah. So they have Jokic at plus 6.5 for his PRA. So he's going to start 6.5 ahead of Luka. Their PRA is only like a 3 or 4 difference, like raw, for their individual PRA line. So somewhat of value there, getting like 3 to 4 PRA value with this. So I mean, Luka could easily crush it, but it's Jokic too. I mean, I feel like they're very similar in the sense of how they fill the stat line. So, yeah, I think it's worth a shot. I mean, you're getting 6.5 plus for Jokic here at home, in a very favorable spot, like we already went over. You guys cool with that? Or is there anything else you liked, E?
No, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
All right, guys. We'll try to be back. Thursday's 3 games too, I believe. So try to be back Thursday. I've not looked at what the slate is, but
I looked earlier. It was the Heat again.
Is it Heat?
Perfect.
Yeah,
we get Houston and San Antonio. That'll be good.
Oh, that's old time classic.
Yeah.
There, we love that matchup. Okay, cool. That'll be good. Yeah, and then like I said, if you haven't joined Underdog, definitely sign up. Highly recommend it. I feel like they're offering way more stuff for us, and higher chance of us hitting with all the players they're adding, props they're adding, and how early they're adding it. So if you are thinking about signing up, definitely use our code Population. Help us out. And yeah, I think the way things are going, Underdog's gonna seem to be a little bit more favorable going forward if this things continue this way. Hopefully, they allow it in Colorado soon.
Yeah, well, hey, we're getting our flip on here, so if you guys have that, definitely,
you
know, just multi-exposures, definitely get your foot in different doors. You know, that was one thing that we really had going for us last year was when Prize Picks was a baby, and they were giving us all these soft-handed things. They're not doing it anymore, and we're seeing Underdog really take a step forward. And I personally think they're going to be one of the industry leaders here within the next 2 years.
Yeah, as long as sportsbook stays restricted in most states, I definitely think so. Because Prize Picks has just really limited everything lately. So, and Yeah, like I said, we'll be on Discord chopping up with everyone, but we'll also there's a lot of college basketball today and hockey, so we're gonna try to mix some stuff in since we only have other sports, since we only have 3 NBA games. So keep an eye out for that. We'll try to build some like team cards mixed in with some of our hockey and college basketball gurus' favorite plays, and just increase our player pool and prop pool. So
Cowboys.
you guys got anything else?
Good luck tonight.
Good
All
luck.
right, guys. Good luck.
Puts up a tough shot. Bounces around. Goes in at the buzzer. Working it down to 2-1. A deep three. Oh!
It's population.
That's how you win a game.
It's population. We hustle every day to find picks. You can tell us if you want to get rich. It's population. We rob an underdog and prize picks. We the best in this biz. You ain't telling us shit. It's population. We love making money quick, fast. Cooking up a team card. The whole crew about to smash. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's catch. The dopest team you ever seen. Winning money, stacking G's. Bookies setting traps, but they'll never catch me. Some people get addicted like rats to the cheese, but I got one obligation to bring Johnny to his knees. Holding back the price till the morning he knows. They'll be fishing in the shack, plotting nukes with the pros. Only withdraw, never reload. Underrated to my amigos. We go with honest, we seeking the bloods. We know when a fucking cheat code. Party that I'm sweating, they can't be good for my health. Some may call it making bets, I call it investing in myself. I'm picking props like stocks. Population for the win. Got my sips in by the buzzer now. Let the games begin. It's population. It's population.